Hello, and today I am stuck on an island. I found a seed that will spawn me on an island, all alone with little to no resources. If you like this video, please consider subscribing, because more like this will come. Now let's jump into it. And of course, apologies if I sound monotone, dead, and tired. I am recording this way too late, and if I go even a little bit above a whisper, I will wake up my mother. So, if you want to pray for me that I don't wake up my mom during this editing, hit the like button. I don't know, it seems kind of cool. Day 1 started smoothly. I started with a bonus chest because whoever left me on this island by myself at least wanted me to die a very, very, very slow death. Very soon, I was stacked with a wooden axe, a pickaxe, a couple of sticks, 2 pieces of fish, a couple pieces of wood, an apple, and a piece of bread. And off I went, obliterating the tall grass that often destroys my computer's FPS. I was searching for seeds, and also wanted to take out my anger from the first 5 times of trying this not working. I had come up with a plan, to use dandelions as a way to mark the passage of time. So far I had a great abundance of wildflowers at my disposal, so it worked. I walked around a little, enough to know that all I had was a very tall mountain, some sand, and some dirt. After spotting the first, and most likely only, wildlife I would see on the island, I decided on starting a farm up right away so I wouldn't starve. And yes, I know, using the new mangrove planks to make a crafting table hurt me too, but I needed to make a farm pronto. After clearing the small island I started on of grass, I plopped my little farm right on it and got farming. Turns out I was wrong about the sheep being the only wildlife on the island, as shortly after I found chickens and more sheep. With the seeds, I lured the chickens back to my island and into a hole in the ground to keep them contained. Then, after breeding them, I went to prepare for the arrival of some sheep as well, by also digging a big hole. It was time to get some stone, I decided, so I ventured up the side of the mountain to a small cave, and I hit the jackpot of iron and 2 big veins of coal. With night upon me, I leapt into the darkness, and with a spider chasing me, dug a dignified hole into the ground. Then that was day 1, signified by my dandelion on the dirt block. As day 2 neared, I dug out more from my hole and tried to make a staircase, but only ended up with a barely walkable mess. I'll fix that later. With my friendly neighborhood spider at my door, I climbed out of my hole and immediately set my anger out on a skeleton that had decided to continue life. Not for long, however. I continued with my exploring, and I found a great big watery cave, and immediately said nope and walked the other way. I realized I was dying of hunger, so I murdered a chicken and continued on my way. By then, I had realized 2 things. 1, I kinda had to go to the bathroom in real life, and 2, I had no trees. Shortly after, I found a tree and lava, which I was very happy about. I managed to get 2 saplings from the tree and was very, very happy about that. I thought some of my wheat had grown, but I was wrong about that. I finally remembered I had a chest before I realized the second night was drawing near, so I rushed to confiscate the sugarcane from the other island before retreating back to safety. I happily studied the wall as I waited for dawn to return, and I went to the bathroom in real life. When the dawn did return, I found an unfriendly drowned had fallen into my sheep hole, so I killed him, and he didn't kill me once. Finally, with my wheat actually grown, I could get some sheep. Their sacrifice gave me a bed to rest my head on at the end of the night. I also added a skylight so that I could see the sun reassuring me when I woke each morning. I added some ladders to my base before I decided to terraform the outside of my base. This big lumpy hill was perfectly good, but it was put to waste by its lumpiness, so I flattened it to use for my animals. Day 2 ended perfectly, with me putting another dandelion on to signify the end of another day, and with me sleeping in my nostalgic red bed. Day 4. My wheat finally grew, and I finished terraforming the island next to me for my animals. And instead of beginning to work on my animal sanctuary, I decided to explore more and collect the iron ore poking through the mountain. As I calmly collected my ores, I realized it was growing dark and decided to make the perilous journey back down. Then this happened. And it didn't take me a couple tries to get my stuff back. At least day 5 started out calmly. I smelted the iron I had gathered the day before, made an iron pickaxe, and after the disasters that happened last night, I decided to make armor. I promptly blew up half of my roof with a creeper and wasn't happy about that because that fucker broke my skylight. I filled it in, leaving room for another skylight, and finally fixed my entrance by adding a ladder and getting rid of that weird mess I had before. After caring for my chickens and sheep, I cut down one of the trees that had grown from the 2 saplings I got. I fixed the creeper hole from last night, a different one, and finally decided that I had had enough and went to work on a wall around my base. I went for a stone wall, just like Luke the Notable, because 6 pieces of stone get you 6 walls, and I'm in honors geometry, so I know math, and fences require more steps. I started off by first walling in my home island, then I went to the one I had previously flattened. I set up walls for the animals, and by then it was turning dark. That took me to day 5. At the start of the day, I finished the animal pens, and I almost died jumping back into my base. I used granite to make more walls, so I connected the space in between the pens so less mobs would get in. Then finally, with my pens done, I could move the animals in. I started with the chickens, and they went in no problem. Same with the sheep. Later on, I want to switch that fence gate with a carpet. It's just easier. After that, I filled up the other holes and organized some chests before I decided that was all. I really hope you enjoyed my first Minecraft video. Another one is coming soon where I introduce my friends SMP. Can't wait to see you again. Bye!